Last video of the day, I swear, this is like the pajama diaries. I should just call this the pajama diaries. While I'm drinking my coffee, I might add. So if you thought that you couldn't drink coffee and go back to Mormon church, you absolutely can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to give that up. I'm just going to be honest with you. But who I am now, my husband and I were talking about this. Who I am now, going back to Mormonism compared to who I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It feels so good to be this version of Mormon, to be this version of Latter-day Saint. I know we're not saying Mormon. I'm trying to switch over. I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to kick this habit, okay? It's what I know myself as, and it's just kind of like, it's what most people know Latter-day Saints as. They don't know Latter-day Saint, they know Mormon, okay? But before, it was like, I had a brief period of time around Prop 8, 2018, where I left the church. And sorry, it wasn't 2018, it was 2010. 2008 to 2010, I was having a faith crisis because of Prop 8. And that's why it's like people want to, I recorded a whole video of like, I'm not interested in a me versus you argument. I'm not interested in like debating with you because I've been through it all. I've done it all. Yes, I was a California Prop 8 Mormon. Okay. So I know it all. I've been there and done it, had it all, felt it, been mad about it. Okay. I wish you well. Have your opinion. You can be mad about it. I don't care. You're welcome at my table. But I was really mad in 2010 about Prop 8. It was like the first time that I had ever been a fish out of the fishbowl and looking in at the fishbowl and going, what? What? Like everything about the Mormon church worked for me until Prop 8. Okay. Because I had a gay brother. And I was like, I could not wrap my mind around that they're telling me how to vote for something. What? So I had a faith crisis and I lost my faith for a little bit and like literally did not know what to do. I was like a rudderless boat out here. I had never lost the framework of the church of morality and values, and I did not know how to be. I did not know how to function. I did not know how to like just survive. And so I went off the rails, literally went off the rails. Did a lot of things I regret. Did a lot of things I wish I could go back and change, but I can't. It's part of my past and my history, and you know, it's just part of being human. I made mistakes. I hurt people. That's what we do. Okay. And I'm not trying to minimize it at all, but it was a really dark period because I had no rudder. And so when I came back to the church, it was very like under a like penalization process. Like I had to go do a council. I had to go do a stake high council with 18 men and me. And it might have been 15 men. I might be exaggerating. I think it was 15 men and me. And there were times I had some feelings about that. Okay, I'm going to be fully transparent with you. And I had to go through that council because I had hurt people and I wanted to atone. I needed atonement. At that time. And the council offered me that. It offered me a way to return that felt like an atonement that helped me to get past the shame I carried for my actions. But when I came back to the church, it was very in like this penitent, I'm just going to say it, disempowered energy. Now, I was humble. I was extremely humble. I knew what I had done. I was facing what I had done. I had fully admitted what I had done. I never took the easy way out. I never tried to blame anyone else. I never tried to minimize my actions, not once. I stood firm in what I had done. I accepted it. I owned it, and I was trying to make amends. So I was in a much more humble, disempowered state, which was appropriate. That was appropriate for the time because that's exactly where I needed to be. However, when I'm coming back this time to the church, I was active for another 10 years after that stake high council. I was active for another 10 years, really strong in the church. I lost my testimony again due to a lot of different reasons. I'm still kind of unpacking what happened there. I think, to be honest, and I'm just going to be quite frank, I mean, I do have kids on this app, so I have to be sensitive, but I was in a long marriage that I was very unhappy in and I needed to get out of. And at the time, I was staying in it because the church, I felt that in order to stay in the church, I needed to stay in my marriage. That's honestly how I felt. And so I kind of equated the two together. I did have some real problems with the doctrine. I'm not going to lie. Like I did have some real true problems, but I look at the underlying, like if I scan out now and I look at the perspective of the situation, it was like I needed to get out of it so that I could leave my marriage and like stand on my own 2 feet and get a divorce. That was really hard to do. And I had to extricate myself from like the beliefs I had in my mind tied to the church that I had to stay in it in order to be a good member of the church. So I left. I had my time where I could live in the world and gather wisdom and have experiences. And now I'm coming back to the church so empowered. I am empowered coming back to church. It feels really good because I'm coming back to the church now and I'm making choices that I want to do. I'm deciding what I want to believe. When I'm hearing things in church now that I don't agree with, I don't care. It's literally no skin off my back. I don't even have one iota of negative thought. Before, I was disempowered in many cases when I came back to church. So when I would hear things that offended me, it would rock my whole world because I was on fragile ground. Does that make sense? So if somebody would say something about politics or whatever, it was like I was already on such fragile footing because I had come back into the church in a disempowered state of not feeling worthy and trying to atone, that when somebody would say something, it would like throw me off my game. Now, because I'm coming back of my own free will and volition, and I've gone out and I've created already a structure of values and morals that I built myself brick by brick, reading Joe Dispenza, reading Neville Goddard, having experiences, meeting people, talking to people, understanding humans, understanding why humans do what they do, understanding what the kind of human that I want to be based on looking at other humans and their choices for their lives. Did you know that I decided to be sober like a year ago? I just cut out alcohol because I saw how damaging it was to not only myself, but how it changed people that I really loved, and how it was affecting people that I really loved. And I said, no more alcohol. I made that choice on my own. There was no word of wisdom given to me saying, don't drink alcohol. I just made that choice. So this is my example. This is an example of how I had to build my own framework of morality brick by brick without the church. So now that I'm stepping back into the church, it's like I'm so empowered. Because when people talk about here's an example, and then I'll go, but I need to get ready for the day. I'm laying in bed. I have an appointment at 1:00, so I do have to go. But here's a great example, talking about Jesus. I believe that we're source consciousness. I believe that we are God. I believe that we are all one and the same. Christ came to earth to show us how to live like God. And Mormonism will say this in its own canon-y way. And it's in their canon, that Jesus came here to be the exemplar. And I believe that too, but I have my own perspective on it now. So when people come to church and they talk about, I'm so grateful for Jesus and his example, I can look at that like, me too. I am too, because Jesus came here to show us how to live an awakened, enlightened life, and how to remember that we are one with God, how to remember that we are one with all of our brothers and sisters, that we all come from the same source consciousness. And I can come now with such a richer knowledge and understanding. And I myself gleaned that from a million different amazing sources. And I can go to church and it now supplements my already foundational beliefs. It's extremely empowering.